Live wouldn't let me be great earlier when I tried to tell my story. It was crazy. I said live, let me be great. It just wouldn't. Uh-oh. We might still be having technical difficulties, y'all. We might still be having technical difficulties. I just had the best time. I took a moment to go online, and this group was doing like, I guess a date. I don't know what it was. I guess it was like a date. It was fun. I had a really good time. I'm gonna try to wait because I know y'all ain't sleep. Don't nobody sleep no more. y'all getting plenty of naps. Y'all getting all the naps you need. I know y'all are. Everybody getting everything they need now. So whatever. Come on in. Have a good time. Nobody is asleep. Cut the jokes. Cut the check. Cut the jokes. I got my little music. I hope that sucker Facebook lets me be great. Continues to let me be great. Cheese and crackers. You know how they be bugging out on Facebook. But I was just thinking about this one time. And I went to Paris. And I had a really good time. Like the best time ever. The best time I could ever have. I went to, hello, Halima. Hello, Miss Halima. Hello, Miss Sarkody. What's going on, beautiful? I'm so excited that I got my friends to come on. Let's go. So much fun. So, hey, friends. So, I'm just remembering when I went to Paris the last time. And I had the best time ever. Hi. Bonjour. Bon nuit. Was it bon nuit? What do they say in Senegal? Because I think they speak French, don't they? Oh, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to join y'all. Because this is... So, anyhow, I went to Coco this one time. And that's this super dope bar. I don't even know. It looked like, the funny thing about Paris is like, you don't know if and I'm guessing, I have no clue. The buildings look so old. It's like, was this here first? Like, this is so intricate. Was this here first? And then y'all made it into what it is? Or did y'all recently make it into this beautiful, wild tapestry with incredible architecture? It's like being in Paris is like observing architecture, observing history right in front of your eyeballs. It's kind of like, and me being from the DC area, we're very familiar with monuments. So imagine like monument aged homes. You know, it's like, wow. It's just kind of wow. The structures have been there so long you could tell, oh, this was Napoleon level. Oh, okay, I see. Like, I remember that Paris was established well before my country. So like Paris and France was doing their thing. Paris and France were doing their thing when America wasn't even thought of yet. So that kind of gives you a different perspective, I guess, when you go and travel and then you come home, and just, these are the things I was thinking about when I was in Paris. So, bon nuit, and yes, they speak French, and Wolof. Sometimes a mixture. Oh, I cannot wait. Hello, favorite clients. My favorite clients, you guys are awesome. I think we're coming up on 6 weeks in departure from all of my clients. It's so wild. So interesting. Because the world shut down. Like right when I was like, oh, I'm about to retire. The whole world said, oh, of course you are. Everyone is. That was nice. So that was a loud gulp. So anyway, I wanted to share about the time I went to Coco because I had the best time. I had the best time. And it's so weird because I went to go visit my mentor, and she's a very lovely person. She's an extremely lovely person. We had the best time ever. We're walking the beautiful streets of Paris. We go into this place. I don't even remember the name of the place. But we go into this place, and then you go inside, and it looked like some old interview with a vampire level, like everything. But it wasn't anything goth about it because everybody in there was dressed like it was a club. It was so strange. So, but it was amazing at the same time. So we get in there and they're making coffee martinis. He's putting like irises in begonias and stuff in the cocktails. I mean, gold coffee beans. It was like, what? Oh my gosh, this is amazing. So I get there and I'm hanging out with, my mentor and the other families that are there. And, I'm just like, America. I ain't going back. I ain't going back. I was like, I'm not going back. Y'all can keep it. Hey, friend. Happy belated birthday, friend. Like, let me tell y'all something. Why would I go back? Why would I come here? Okay? While I'm here, while we're over there, people, French are racist. I didn't have that experience. With every experience people are having, I did not have. Okay? When I went over to Paris, and I was over there minding my business, I had like one dress. You understand me? One dress. With pockets, though. The dress had pockets. Please don't front. But one dress. You're getting better. One dress. And we go to, all these various places. But as a Black American woman, when we stayed in, the first time I think we stayed in Airbnbs, and that was really awesome because it was like, you kind of felt like you had your own apartment, but you're out of the country. So that really feels dope because you can walk to the nearest little, like a Aldi's or whatever, but it's called Franprix, but it's like Aldi's. And then you can get yourself some food for like 10 euro. You can feed yourself for the week. That's amazing. Or we went and actually stayed at a hotel this time. And this time you could feed yourself. You could kind of fast. It was like, both experiences were very, very nice. Hey, Malcolm. Happy college day. Hey, Roger. Happy middle school days. So, anyway, I'm over there and I get in the hallway. I'm trying to mind my business, right? This lady who was not Black, she was not Black at all. She was like, you know how you try to move to the right? People in France also drive on the right. So, I was like, because that would make a difference on what side I think of the sidewalk you should move to. I'm not sure. I'm just guessing. So I'm pretty sure we all walk on the right-hand side. But anyway, the lady was just like doing some weird weeble wobble dance with me. And I was like, so I just stopped. She was like, oh my gosh, you're just so beautiful. Okay, thanks, lady. Hi, thanks. Let me get by, please. But the point I'm making is that people, thank you so much. But the point that I'm making is that in Paris, people treated us like royalty. They were so nice to us. That was like an example, but like everywhere we went, they were nice. The Uber guys came out, open your door for you. You know what I'm saying? They put their bags in for you. I'm like, I'm having a wonderful time. Who could ever say that they went to Paris? If someone said they went to Paris and people were rude, I almost feel like you're lying. I went 2 different times and stayed in 3 totally different places. Everybody was sweet to me. I'd be like, bonjour. They'd be like, do you need English? Like, merci beaucoup. Absolutely. Thank you so much. You know, it was crazy because then I felt embarrassed because if you come to my neighborhood and start speaking French, nobody's going to be able to help you. We're going to be pulling out Google Translate. But like nearly every person that I spoke to knew a degree of English. You know what I'm saying? But I know why, because English is considered a business language. So I get it. Like, but we as Americans, you know, what's the joke? What are you called if you only speak one language? American. I felt so uncultured. I felt so uncultured. And also, I had long nails the first time I went, and I was just like, I don't fit in. This doesn't vibe well. You can go over there and obviously look the way you want to look, but everybody has such a simple, even the Black people, they have such a simple elegance that I wanted that when I came back. I was just like, I like this international level or standard. I love that when I'm on the plane at the airport. When I was at the airport in DC, when I was at the airport in New York, when I got to the airport in France, then I was appropriately dressed for all 3 places. And I felt like I had brought my grandmother's granddaughter and all of the things that she taught us. I thought that this was the reason why she prepared me. My grandmother prepared me by showing me beauty tricks, you know, passing down ways to be sweet, passing down ways to be cultured just by being in her presence at home. That's what taught me culture, not school per se. So, yes, they only wear a few colors. And so when I was there and we were received so beautifully by everyone, for one, we were all dressed well, and it was just like, it was such a beautiful time. It was such a beautiful time. And to be international and poised is not the same as to be poised in like common quarters these days. So now, you know, a lot of us are very relaxed. We're very relaxed in the way we dress. We're very relaxed in the way that we speak. We're very relaxed in the way that we do things. And I think that relaxation has been a fall asleep of culture. It has been a fall asleep of class. It has been a fall asleep of elevation, because everybody wants everything to be so common. Oh, well, I'm just going to be common. And I'm just going to say this. My grandmother, she used to say something. And I thought it was the funniest thing. But she was serious as whatever. My grandmother used to say the word common like it was a bad word. Like, they're so common. But she meant that they didn't have any upbringing. She meant that they didn't have any couth. She meant that they didn't understand decorum. She meant that, like, she wasn't saying they're common as in like you're poor, because she came from humble beginnings as well. But they had pride. They had, stature, or, they had traditions and things like that. So when people kind of don't adhere to that, and I guess in her eyes, it was just like, And she wasn't able to articulate it enough, but now that I'm getting older, I really understand the points of the things that she was teaching me. And when I left and went to Paris, and was sitting at the, I went to Paris and went to the Butterfly, I think it's called the Butterfly Cafe at La Durée, I believe. It's a butterfly cafe, and inside looks like this strange cocoon, and you sit in these little webbing stools. It's like so beautiful. We're sitting there eating macarons. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. Hopefully so. We're sitting there, and again, it was required that you be poised. It was required that you have manners. It's required that you act like you have sense. So if we ever go to Paris and you find people walking the streets, what you're not going to see is this. You're not going to see. I'm going to try to do it. I didn't know I was going to use these for this, but you don't see this. You know what I'm saying? You don't see this. You don't see the nails popping out. You don't see weaves and heavy makeup everywhere. You don't see those things. You see people living authentic, more authenticated sort of lives, authentic looking selves. A lot more people look authentic. And I think that traveling really helped me to appreciate myself more. It's like when I went to this bar, I guess it was a bar, I don't know what it was, in Paris, and just looking like myself, being myself and smiling, it commanded so much attention. And I'm not saying that that's not the case here, but you could just have your fluffy hair out and they're just like, ooh. You know, there's a beautiful history, and there's a beautiful overcoming, and there's a beautiful raising of Black minds out of America. It's like when you kind of lift your mind to understand that you are a great person, and that you start to understand how beautiful you truly are just as a Black person. If you want to call yourself Black, Moorish, Indigenous, whatever we are, let's focus. Let's not focus on the verbiage. Let's just focus on, you know, whatever. But when we start to discover how beautiful we are, you would cut your right hand off before you wanted to look like somebody else. I think that Black people are so amazing. I would never want to look like anything else. I would never want to look like the people who oppressed me. I would never want to look like my oppressor. That's why I wear my hair nappy. That's why I'm cool with nappy hair. I don't want to look like anything that's not me. I want other awesome young ladies to want to look like themselves. So that's why I look like myself. And I'm okay with that. And a lot of people don't understand that. And that's okay. But when I went to Paris, call me a business. So when I went to Paris and I saw how beautifully we were received there, and I saw how proud I could be to just be myself, there's no way I could ever go back. I can never go back. I feel too free. The more Black women that we have out here feeling like they true, authentic, beautiful selves, happy to serve our families again. Listen, if you're not in this position or in the place where you want to develop your family, cool. Cool. Hey, cool. If you're not in that place, I totally understand. I totally understand. If you're not in a place where, you know, you want to have those experiences where you just realize that you're better, that you can be better, that you can help others, that you can serve others, that you can find joy daily, you know, you have to want to find those things. You have to want to have a free mind. And as a Black person in America, let me just tell you something. If you want to keep your mind free, Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. If you want to keep your mind free, I don't have a ding, 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 ding. I don't have that, but I don't know why that just kind of made me think about it. And on the Matrix, I think she was drinking something too, but that's another story. That's another story. But as a Black person, you gotta fight to keep your mind free. You can't trust the TV because the TV telling you crazy stuff. You can't trust the history books because, okay, I've been watching Django. This is about to be a comedy sketch because I got some things I got to say. I have been watching Django, okay, and I got to thinking, why on God's green earth? And Malcolm X said this. Malcolm X said this. He said, why would you let your oppressor educate your children? Okay, so I'm watching Django, and the story of Django was wild and deep. Exactly. So why are we listening to those? They could be lying about the whole story. Django could be the truth. Django probably is the truth. But they telling us a whole nother story. We gonna all get together and say they was underneath us. That don't even sound right. Who are you talking to? I've seen Africans. I've met Africans. I have seen on the news, it was when I was in Paris, that Africans were not afraid of the police at all. This was 2020. 2020 Africans were, I think it was in Paris, and they were actually protesting, and it was the police involved, and it was so many of them, they were so, they were so loud that the police actually pushed back. So okay, all right. So you mean to tell me that men directly descended from this same lineage, from this same culture, somehow came over here, totally gave up everything, and just all that stuff happened in slavery? I'm gonna go with the Django version of the story, and I'm going to teach the children that. Because the minute, watch this, there are no little Irish children being taught, oh, you know that you used to get dominated before you even began. What do you think that does to people? You're telling people that, oh, you was a slave first. They told us that. I mean, I don't know what grade they told y'all, but they told me that. That's what grade they started telling me. And I was like, you bugging. And we was all like, no, we would never do that. Do y'all remember? If I was a slave, like all of us were like, every last one of us, when we started hearing about it, everybody would be like, well, I wouldn't have did it. So why in the world do we think, honestly, that all of our ancestors just did it? Come on, y'all. Nothing about us says that that's who we are. But too many of us believed it. I don't believe it. Especially not after I traveled. Y'all tripping. You're tripping. Y'all lying, doing a lot of lying on Black people. And I'm not about to listen to it. And they keep lying because they putting people like, I'm not going to throw her under the bus, but they keep putting people like Cardi B in front of us. And I understand like she's not necessarily even super popping, but then they take your history from you, and then they put weird stuff in front of you that doesn't even make sense. And then they put it in the, no worries, listen, that's fine. I'm glad I traveled. I'm glad that I traveled, that I know the truth. I'm going to go, like I said, I'm going to go with the Django version because that makes more sense to me. You mean you don't care about none of these people and you're going to kill everybody in the whole situation until you could get your woman, Black man? Yeah, that sounds right to me. Yeah, that sounds 100%. And she spoke German? I think because my last name is German, maybe I took it personal. I have a German last name. So when I heard, oh, she speak a little German. Oh, she got a little German in her blood? Oh, okay, that's me. So he killed everybody. He killed, at the risk of his manhood. At the risk of his manhood. This is Django, y'all. Because remember, they strung him up. At the risk of his manhood, He put everything on the line and still came through. And he won. Killed everybody. Killed all the folks. And killed the Uncle Tom, whatever the dude name was. The Samuel L. Jackson's character. That's my type of movie. That's what I look at. It was great. And I understand maybe we shouldn't be watching all the gore, but something about that twink, twink, twink. I said, oh, this is good. This is really good. This is really good. This is the story. That other stuff that you're trying to teach our children, that's not the story. And I'm not going to teach my children that story at all. That story is some garbage. You can't imagine the programming that has to do to all of us. What does that do to all of us? Think about that. You're 7 years old and somebody come and tell you, come on now. Come on now. Somebody got to give up these lies because I'm not going for them at all. So that's why I just basically reject anything that's unhealthy. When people start talking weird talk about 50-50 on bills, I totally was a good man. Sambo. There you go. And now that wasn't even to your point, Miss Maiju. Whoever Samuel L. Jackson played in that movie, I heard that Uncle Tom was a cool guy. So thank you for your correction, first of all. Whatever his name was, I think it was actually Thomas or something in the movie. Oh, right. Dang. But I didn't even think of him as being like a Uncle Thomas. I didn't even put that together until you just said something. Joe? Oh, Joe. Okay. That was his name. He's like, who is that nigga on that neck? He was mad as I don't know what. That show was crazy. Still found that weren't slaves. Hello? Exactly. Exactly. People weren't even slaves. You telling everybody they was a slave and you coupling in people who history had nothing to do with slavery. Exactly my point. Who else are they lying to? Some people I know were traced back to their plantation, and that's cool. But like, that's just my point. We need to be responsible for our own history, not letting the school oversee who everybody. That ain't everybody history. My grandmother told me my family history. Crazy. Crazy. So, but, I mean, I think I covered a lot. I think I covered a whole lot in this one. And I just wanted to share that because it was really on my heart to say. It was just on my heart to say these things. And all of this kind of reminded me from, one more thing I wanted to share. And I've been trying to get this story out to make the point. When you have like a patriarchal mindset, tradition is very important. And tradition is important in patriarchy because structure is important, because retention is important, integrity is important. And so you can't be having a tradition if you're constantly changing it. You see what I'm saying? It's not a tradition as if every single time you do it, you change it up. You gotta, keep everything together so that y'all remember playing telephone and you would tell somebody something, but by the time you get to the end of the line, it was like a whole new message. That's the same thing with traditions. You can't just be adding stuff and then be like, oh, it's a tradition. Y'all done added 17 Twinkies to it and now it's not even the same. It's not the same. And I would like to use that honestly as I would like to use that analogy for what femininity has done. It's like somebody put a message in people's ear and then now the message has been distorted because we're listening to the wrong stuff. We need to follow tradition and people showed us certain things and we need to kind of adhere to that. That's kind of my thinking, but I understand that people not with me on that and that's fine. So anyway, I drive a Wrangler, right? So I have a a Jeep Wrangler. Jeep Wave. I drive a Jeep Wrangler and it's a stick shift. So I've got the this Tonka truck, wild tires on the truck and everything. So, hello, beautiful. And so, yeah, exactly. So there's a little history about, with Jeep Wranglers. This is the most like American car in the world because the car used to be a military vehicle, which meant that it wasn't like for road driving or whatever. So when this vehicle that was just for the military would be stationed at other countries and other foreign territories, then obviously the Jeeps, the Wranglers, would be carrying generals and would be carrying high-ranking officials. So as the two vehicles, obviously because I told you it was a military vehicle, when the two vehicles would pass each other on the base, they didn't want to do this, so they did this. This is a notion, this is still a greeting from Wrangler to Wrangler. So I don't know if people know this, but the front of a Wrangler's grill, I think all of the Jeep's grill, honestly, is there's 7 vents in the grill. And that's because a Jeep has touched every, I think, continent that there is on the earth. This has been present, and it's been present a long time. So this car has a lot of history. This car has a tradition, and one of the traditions is you're supposed to wave when you pass each other. This isn't a secret. You can look it up online. It's very open Jeep information. However, it's a tradition with the car. I noticed it took me a couple times to realize that. I looked it up because every time I would pass another Wrangler, they would do this to me. And I was just like, whatever. I don't know what you want. Because I didn't have 30-day tags. So, they would just so I looked it up. And it was just like, and that's when I found the history. Okay, cool. There are new Jeep, and this drives me wild. There are new Jeep drivers who obviously don't know anything about this tradition of the car. And I realized that I have to be the person that helps that tradition stay alive by constantly doing it. That means that anytime I see a Wrangler, it doesn't matter if they do it back or not, I'm always going to give the Jeep wave, because they could be the person that is a new driver like myself that says, how do what is this person doing this for me? And maybe they'll look it up. But if I let the tradition fall short, then eventually being a Jeep driver, newer drivers or newer people in our clique, they won't know these etiquettes of being a Jeep driver. You know what I'm saying? They won't know the fun of it. They won't understand the camaraderie of it. They won't feel, I guess, like a part of it. And like I said, that tradition will go away. And I look at like family traditions, and I look at, these songs, look. This Dreamville, my son put me on to Dreamville. But just kind of retaining traditions and retaining integrity is important. It's just important. Without it, our culture dies. So constantly not having a structure in place has been detrimental. And kind of like that, I use the Jeep as an analogy. Like, again, if I own a Jeep and I'm one of the people that decides tradition's not important, I'm not going to carry on the tradition, that means a newer Jeep driver has no way of knowing, because I have let that crumble. I have let that portion of the structure fall down. And our families can't afford that. Like, our families in Black America, our families can't afford that. So obviously the things that I say or post, they're not always popular, but I assure you they're based in tradition. And I wouldn't endorse things that I didn't personally learn from my family. My family taught me certain things. And being able to share that with other families is me just kind of sharing something that's joyful to me or that created joy for me and our family, and just passing it on. Just passing it on. So I'm going to get off because I've been chatting a long time. I hope I can even record this video because it's super long. I hope I have space on my phone because I need to transfer this off of Facebook because it's so long. So I hope y'all have a good time. I hope y'all enjoying y'all Friday, whatever day it is, doesn't matter. Have a good time. Y'all know daggone well ain't nobody going to sleep. Everybody is up. Everybody is up. Y'all, this tea is everything. It's English rose tea. English rose black tea. Bonne nuit. Bonne